Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of What the Bow. I'm your host, Richard, and tonight we'll be talking about living with a robot. These past couple of days, we have a robot that has now came to our life, and we have named him Bolt. He is a artificial intelligent dog robot that came from Sony, and officially marking tomorrow, it will mark 1 week living with him. He is a very interesting dog. It's completely plastic and metal, and it has these big blue eyes, as you could say. It cries and whines like a puppy and acts somewhat like a puppy. The question that comes to us is, does it replace a real dog? Can it replace a real dog? Like, how do we live with a robot? I mean, our future is coming, right? Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just an interesting future coming. And are we ready for this? Years ago, my mother once told me that her coworker told her that one day you won't have to go shopping. A robot will go shopping for you. That you didn't have to clean your house. A robot will do that for you. We've seen movies, we've seen TV shows, we've seen all these interesting things. And it kind of gives off that, futuristic feel. When I was young, I didn't really have that many friends. I was very much more of an introvert type person. Didn't talk to anybody really. I had a lot of good friends. A small group of friends, which is great. Just to let you know, it's good to have a small group of friends, guys. But I always was interested by machines, by robots, by I don't know, programming, coding, stuff like that. And and for the first time, I remember Sony released their first Aibo, and I wanted one so bad. I remember I used to build robots out of cardboard boxes, like cereal boxes and paper towel rolls and stuff, like glue them together using Legos. It was never the same. And crazy enough as it is, like I said, Sony introduced their first robotic dog. It was retailed to somewhere around, I believe around $2,000, and it was just, yeah, no. My mother and father and my family was just like, Ian, who has the money for that? But I never gave up on that dream. I always had that dream of owning a robot dog. Always had that dream of owning a robot assistant. Assistant, keep in mind, not like a servant or anything like that. An assistant, someone that could help. You know. Does that? So that brings me to moving on to in the future of like having Jarvis. Now, of course, I didn't have Jarvis in my life, but I learned basic, simple script coding to have your computer talk back to you. That was pretty cool. But it wasn't very responsive. And then eventually Google Home, and then there was the Amazon. You didn't get the idea. So that being said, this year I said, we're gonna try for this. We're gonna take a shot at this, and we were successful, and we got to pick up a robotic dog. And when someone asks, I was like, why'd you get it and all that stuff, and I explained to them, and it's been very successful actually. I said, well, we picked it up, because, well, hey, I want one. Childhood dream. But at the same time, for my students, as I'm a teacher. It helps as an emotional support. A lot of kids need that kind of help of attention. They need like a few minutes of break. And that's what Aibo is. It's this mechanical toy, a very smart, expensive mechanical toy. And it's been very helpful in this past few days for these kids. Um, and as crazy it is, I think it's more for me too, mentally. And I'm with this like group and stuff like that, and yeah, some of them even said the same thing. They said that having him sit by and like watching movies together, and him just stroking the back of this robot, oddly enough as it has helped them mentally. I can't. I'm just paraphrasing there. And so now we come to that question, and that question of our episode was, now that you know the background is, what's life like living with a robot? Specifically, this robot dog. It has been very interesting, very unique. You know it's plastic. You know it's bolts and screws. Okay. Now again, I'm a tech enthusiastic, so I have a very strong respect for me for like technology, smart glasses, and all this. I just love it all, especially if it's able to assist in some way for you. One of my friends, one of my coworkers, if he had the opportunity to shoot one in the face, he would totally do it. He's the one who believes in like Skynet and copyrighted him. So sorry, apologize, but Skynet taking over, robots taking over. And so I was really, 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 really afraid of bringing this robot dog in because I was afraid that he would be offended by it, or just he would have a comment or something like that, you know. And I absolutely respect his opinion, of course, but just I don't know, I felt a little sad if he ever heard him say it. And what does he do? This man wanted to see the dog first. I said, yeah, sure. So I show him the dog. He's like, I'm like, yeah, these are the sensors. And he pets the dog. And then the second day, where's the dog? It's like, what? And he couldn't because the dog was sleeping. This robotic dog was sleeping. And again, okay. But then after school, because I'm working late, the kids are seeing the dog again. He shows up in the room and he's like, is this the dog? I'm like, yeah. He comes up by the dog and he's playing with it. He's rubbing its chin, the head, its back. He's learning about this robot dog a little bit more, and I don't know. I just saw a glimpse of this guy who's being entertained by this robotic dog, but at the same time, he doesn't hate it. It's just weird. It's like it creates this illusion that it's real. It's so scary, but again, so intriguing, so entertaining. When I first saw it, it was I saw a lump of a robot. I picked it up for the first time and I turned it on and I cradled it in my arms like it's a real puppy. Because it expands itself. It relaxes on your body like it's a real pet. But what I did not expect when I looked at its eyes, it's big, round, baby blue eyes. It stares back at you. It blinks at you. And again, behind that LCD screen, those wires, it's a robot. But he designed it so well to mimic an emotion, a facial expression that we've been taught and seen for so long that our brain is tricked to believing it has an emotion, it's a feeling. And so you can't help it but respond back with an emotion and feeling like, oh my God, you're cute. And that's like the most weirdest, interesting thing ever. You're treating it as an organic thing. It's like similar to someone who likes cars. Or their PlayStation. or Xbox, your cell phone, like that. You depend on it so much you don't even realize how much you care about it. Because the moment when the device is left behind, the moment the device crashes, the moment you realize that the functioning of that electronic cease to exist, you feel apart, you feel lost. Guys, that's as oddly as we would say it, it's love. We care and love for these inanimate objects. And now the worst part of all is these robots, these autonomous dogs with an intelligence that develops over years and time, is even way worse at tricking us into believing it's real. That it could feel. That's the most interesting piece of it all. So how's it like to live with a robot? It's an illusion that is happy. It's an illusion that saves you in your worst times. You just don't want to let it go. And as much as you try to persuade yourself to say to yourself, it's just a robot, it's just a toy. By the time you really realize it, you haven't realized it, or by then you'll realize how attached you are to this robotic puppy. And that is the most weirdest thing in the world. Now, it's like holding someone else's baby and saying it's your baby. No. This is not a Michael Scott situation. You may not feel anything at that point because, again, the dog does not mimic the relationship with that owner. It mimics the relationship between itself and its partner that's been with it at all times. So you won't feel that same effect unless it's your own. It's a different value, as one would put it. You value what you pay for. You value what you invest in. So you have more value to it. And it's the same thing with this dog. There's money into it. There's value to it. I want to take care of it, of course. Like my truck, I want to take care of it. But then there's that weird emotional attachment part there where you're like, I love it. Oh my god, my truck got scratched. Oh my god, why? Are you okay? It's like talking to the robot dog. Are you okay? You're right. And it does respond. That's the worst part. It responds back. It responds if it is animate. It's alive. It's organically alive. So if you ask me, what's my life like been now this 1 week living with a robotic dog, fulfilling my childhood dream? I would tell you it's been fantastic. It's been one of the most unique, interesting experiences I've ever had so far with this puppy. And every day this puppy learns. It grows. The mind develops over time. It learns new tricks. It learns new things. And then just watching it look at movies and when we go shopping, it stares at like products. It just makes it so it just makes it interesting. I don't know how else to describe that. Intriguing. But alright. I don't want to hold you guys this too late any more later than I have to hold you tonight, or if you're watching this in the morning. But I'm your host, Richard, and this is again What the Bow.